Good evening, everyone. Come on, I introduced myself and said I was going to be the MC and to please laugh when it's not funny, respond when, even if you do not understand me. But again, good evening, distinguished leaders, executives, partners, and champions of customer experience. On behalf of Voice of CX Africa and the European Business Chamber of Rwanda, I'm pleased to welcome you to the CX event, or formally, the Rwanda Customer Experience Leadership Dialogue. Tonight is not just an event. It is a leadership conversation. At EBCR, our mandate is to foster a thriving, competitive business environment, and we co-organize this event, or should I say this dialogue, with CX Africa, because we know that to compete globally, Rwandan and European businesses cannot just compete on products. We must compete on world-class experiences. Customer experience is no longer a support function. It is a true leadership responsibility, and one that I really hope everyone in the room understands that is a priority and is a must.
Thank you, Jessica. Good evening, leaders. So, we are getting started. When we were planning this dialogue, we had one simple question that we wanted answered. And the question was, if customer experience is so important, why is it still treated like a training issue instead of a leadership responsibility? Because the truth is, customer experience is not built in training rooms. It is built in leadership decisions. Tonight, we have leaders in the room shaping Rwanda's service economy. And tonight is about learning from the leaders' experience.
I really need to increase my volume now that Laura has spoken. But wow, I'm blown away. But again, we have intentionally brought leaders from banking, telecom, aviation, hospitality, and tourism because we understand that customer experience is not an industry conversation. It is a leadership conversation. Tonight, we explore what it takes to rebuild organizations, to build organizations that customers trust, that our employees also believe in, and that markets respect. But before we start, we have just a few quick housekeeping rules, just to make sure that the conversation is the best that it can be. So please place your phones on silent mode. We're not telling you to turn them off, but because this is going to be recorded live, if somebody calls you, it would, the conversation would be disturbed a little. So please place your phones on silent mode. And then the facilities are to your right. So if you need to step outside, hopefully not during the panel discussion because the cameras will be rolling, please use the door to the right. And then the formal program will run until approximately 8:20 p.m. And then after that, we'll have networking. And so please stick around till the end. But most importantly, we encourage open thinking, we encourage insightful conversations, and we look forward to having the best conversation on customer experience that Rwanda has had so far.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving into the leadership conversations, where we hear from leaders shaping customer experience transformation across industry. To guide us through this session, we are pleased to have our moderator, a passionate leader who is a CX advocate and a transformational person. Please help me welcome Kagame Stephen. Thank you, Kagame.
It is also my pleasure to introduce our first two distinguished panel leaders. Our first panelist is Mr. Norman Munyamhenda, Chief Customer Operations and Customer Experience Officer at MTN Rwanda. With over 27 years of experience in telecommunications, Norman brings deep expertise in customer operations, sales strategy, and service transformation. We are also joined by Rose Ngabire, Do we have her in the room? Thank you. Chief Operating Officer at the Bank of Kigali. Rose is a seasoned leader driving digital transformation, operational excellence, and customer-centric innovation within Rwanda's banking sector. Please help me to welcome them to the stage.
Also joining this discussion, representing the aviation sector, we have Audrey, Country Manager of Brussels Airlines, Rwanda. Audrey is a leader passionate about service excellence and delivering memorable travel experiences through strong team leadership. And last but not least, I would like to welcome from the hospitality sector, we welcome Nadette, the People and Culture Manager at the Movenpick Kigali. Nadette focuses on building strong workplace culture that enables exceptional guest experience. Please, once again, let us give them a round of applause.
Kagame, are the microphones working?
Yes. Good evening.
Please, the floor is yours.
Welcome to the Voice of CX Africa, where Africa speaks and the world listens. I'm your host, Stephen Kagame. Today is such a wonderful day, and with me on this panel are great industry captains. But before we get into the conversation, I would love to share a few statistics for us that will drive our conversation today. Customer experience is not a training problem. It is a leadership choice. KPMG surveyed 80,000 consumers across 16 countries last year. They evaluated nearly 3,000 brands. They studied what separates organizations customers love, the ones customers return to, the ones customers recommend, and the ones customers defend. But again, they also studied what separates them from the ones customers quietly leave. The answer was not price. Neither was it product. The answer was not technology. It was leadership. And yet right now, across boardrooms on this continent, Africa, customer experience is still treated as a frontline problem. We train the staff. We script the call. We respond to complaints, which is a lot of damage control. And then we wonder why the numbers are not moving. Tonight, the conversation is changing. In this room, I have 4 great leaders representing 4 major industries, one of which being the banking sector, and the other being aviation, and the other being hospitality, and the telecoms. These 4 sectors only tell us that we have 4 vantage points, and one question holding it all together. And here's the fundamental question. Is Rwanda's service economy led, or is it merely managed? And here's how we are going to dive into this very wonderful conversation. I'll start with banking. Rose, it's a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here to interact, to really engage, and share what we know.
Great. You are the Chief Operating Officer of Bank of Kigali, which I would define as one of the prestigious banks of this country. every customer outcome your bank delivers flows at some point from decisions made at your level, not at the counter, neither are the decisions made at the app or the digital application. But most of these decisions are made in the boardroom. Could you tell us, what does it actually look like when customer experience is a leadership choice rather than a leadership afterthought?
Wow. Thank you for that brilliant question, Stephen. So I'd like to say that as CEO of Bank of Kigali, really, I tend to agree that the customer experience starts in the boardroom, because that's where all the decisions are made. So the decisions that are made in the boardroom, whether to implement a new product, whether to integrate, whether to decide on which other service that we go for, it directly impacts the customer. So the thoughts that we put into that, the complexities, the long processes that are thought through in the boardroom will impact the customer. So I think we've made it a choice to make sure that we discuss really from the customer's viewpoint, instead of starting it with the bankers, with the professionals, because how you're going to design that, it would be more or less serving you, instead of now bringing in a customer and having that focus group and really stand out of your position, put yourself in a customer's shoe before you make that decision. So that's deliberate. This is what's being done, but we know that this is a challenge across to be able to deliver the same message from that boardroom to the front office staff the way it is. So the message often is changed. The context has been removed. But yeah, the decisions that are made in the boardroom directly impact the customer. And it's not just the front office. We really need to make it our priority as leaders to make sure that our decisions are really taken to that front office. And the discipline that we put in that, how we simplify that process, we make sure that it's actually organizational culture that changes, as opposed to just blaming the front office person for not doing what they should be doing. Rather, the leadership, the culture across, and making sure that we are holding each other as leaders accountable for what will impact a customer. So what is done at the back end in terms of operations impacts the customer at the front, only that we don't see it. So I'd like to call that operational excellence is customer experience, only on the flip side of it. So the frictions that are at the back, the poor collaborations at the back, they all come to impact the customer in the end. So I think that's what we need to work on and really reverse that, so that you're tackling this sort of like at the root cause, instead of looking at the end. Because at the front, whether it's in the call center, whether it's in our branches, or even in our digital channels where we serve our customers, if you don't look at the problem from the back office, the back end, so that you're enabling the front people to give a good service, and you're only relying on them to just say the nice things and smile and all that, that's not sustainable. What is sustainable is to look at how is your back end, how is your operational efficiency, so that you make it easy for the front office staff to be able to deliver a seamless service, or even the frictions on your channels, the digital experience, the contact center. So it's a holistic approach. And I agree 100% when you say it's a leadership choice. It is a leadership choice. Thank you. Stephen, I yield back to you.
That's very powerful. What Rose just described is something that we actually picked up from our audience when they were pointing out areas that need so much attention, and one of them was operational efficiency. So just to drive my conversation forward in the same line, I'm now moving into aviation. Many of us know that aviation is one of the most unforgiving CX environments in the world. Audrey will have to agree with me or not. A delayed flight, a cold meal, one indifferent gate agent, and months of goodwill can disappear. How do you lead a team to remain excellent when so many of these variables are completely outside your control?
Thank you very much. Good evening. That is very interesting. And I will agree to the extent that aviation is one of the industries that has many variable components. When we talk about customer experience in aviation, it starts with the passenger wanting to travel and the platforms they're going to use. Are they coming to the airline directly? Are they going online to book their tickets? Are they coming to the office? Are they going to make a call? And there are different variables. So how they perceive that and how they are received, that is one part. When you say disruption, now some variables we cannot control in aviation. If it is something to do with weather, if it's a technical issue, because in aviation, safety and security will come first. So how we control this on a leadership side is through communication, to equip our staff to communicate accurately and also with empathy. Because when we talk about leadership, and for me, I am a hands-on person, and I believe that every employee at any level is a leader. So they need to take responsibility. I give an example, and this is a light moment. A janitor in NASA was asked, "What is your role here?" And they said, I play a part in ensuring that people go to space. He's a janitor, he's cleaning. That means that even the person at the airport, the gate agent, the boarding agent, the travel agent that is receiving you has a role to play in the general customer experience. In aviation, there are variables we can control, and those are the ones with regards to communication. Most times a delay, a disruption, what a customer wants is to be heard and to understand, because if someone has an important meeting, if someone is going for a medical appointment, that a delay, whether it is 5 minutes or 40 minutes, can change the trajectory of a customer's experience. But how we handle them, how we talk to them, how we make them feel. Are they heard? Are they seen? Do we appreciate what they're going through? I think that can help alleviate. So for leadership, yes, I say it is a leadership choice. In Lufthansa Group, we've already strategically set the vision of the group, and that is shaping aviation loved for generations to come. That is long-term, that is strategic. So how does each employee play a part in that customer experience journey and goal to ensure that we are shaping aviation, that when a customer is on board the flight, when a customer goes to the airport, they are experiencing a good service. All that, like you said, it is different components. It is the security control, passport check. It is the welcome message on board. It is the food. And if a customer gives feedback, I love feedback. I encourage customers to give feedback. That is another component that can help shape and change the trajectory of the customer experience. Because if someone gives feedback, you acknowledge it and respond to it in a timely manner. Sometimes you may not find an ideal solution, but acknowledge and keep the customer informed, which ties down to the communication. So feedback, communication, and then of course we are always constantly improving. When aviation, over 20 years ago when I started, we were writing paper tickets. Right now we are going digital, like Rose already mentioned. So constant improvements that are taking place at the boardroom to ensure that the journey is seamless, that the response time is short, I think is one of the ways that we can ensure that the customer experience in aviation remains at an optimal level. Yeah.
Great. And what I pick out of your conversation is the internal experience of everyone that is a part of this value chain is very important, which I think takes me to a segment that will better be handled by someone who deals with people and culture, and that is none other than Nadette. Nadette, you work for our prestigious Movenpick, which is our host today. I would love to understand, best of what guests experience. They normally say that the guest experience begins before the guest arrives. It begins the moment an employee decides how much of themselves to bring to work that morning. How do you build a culture where that private daily decision consistently goes the right way?
Stephen, and thank you for choosing us. I'd like to say that guest experience will never exceed employee experience because they are welcoming you. They should be in the proper state to welcome you. And a good example would be Movenpick. We like to say making moments together. So this means the leaders and the people at the front line are working together to make moments for the guests, as well as the leaders or people who sit in boardrooms are working towards making moments for the employees, because people need to feel safe. Psychology matters. People need to feel safe. People need to know their purpose. Like the janitor Audrey mentioned, people need to know their purpose. They need to know their roles matter in the organization. So we create an environment where a person wakes up happy to go to the office. You're in housekeeping. You're at the front desk. You are excited about the guests you're going to receive because the culture at the hotel, at the organization you're at, has created an environment where you love your job. It's not just about the paycheck, you know? So we want the guests to see that the person who's giving them the service is already embracing the culture. They love what they do. So these are daily affirmations. This is done through the briefings in the morning. And of course, the recognition, because celebrating even the small wins really matter to the teams. It brings out a different kind of energy. I like to think it as a marriage. They are very easy to lose the spark, and they can tell when leaders are distant. So this is a combination of so many efforts combined, but what leaders really need to think of is how to make the employees not lose the spark, you know?
That's powerfully put. And I think with the side conversation I had with you, you mentioned recognition being top tier in driving a great and safe environment that our employees can easily deliver consistent experiences to our customers or guests. They normally say employee experience equals to customer experience. If your employees are not happy, it's definitely going to shed off in how your customers will experience your service. So I'm taken to one of the biggest sectors, which I think would be a great one to learn from. Norman, it's a pleasure having you on the podcast. Now, most of the conversations that we've just had are pointing to how leadership is playing a key role in making sure that we deliver consistent and last mile service to our customers. CX is your whole job, if I can put it that way. Not one of many priorities, but the whole job. MTN serves millions of Rwandans. And that is done at scale. Personalization feels almost impossible. And yet loyalty demands it. What does it take to lead customer experience excellence in a sector that most people associate with complaints? I don't know whether my audience agrees with that, but maybe you will help me understand how that goes.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen, for having me here on the panel. Yeah, you are very right. We, a telecom industry, we've got quite a lot of complaints from customers, and we've really come from far, you know. MTN has been in this market for over 27 years now, and subscriber numbers have grown. And when you look at the journey, you could see that the numbers have grown, and right now we've got over 8 million subscribers. Definitely every customer would want to be identified, would want to be known, would want to be served in a more approachable way than, you know, saying that, okay, we are 8 million subscribers. So even that one customer that is in the middle of 8 million subscribers wants to be felt. If, for example, this customer is in deep rural area, say Rurindo, and there is probably a network outage, that customer is experiencing bad customer service, okay? But this customer is saying, okay, he doesn't care whether there are so many other customers, or let me put it this way, so many other SIM cards, MTN SIM cards, that are experiencing the same problem. This customer wants to be seen, wants to be helped. So the question in the mind is, does this MTN I hear about, do they know the experience I'm going through? Are they fixing my problem? Are they understanding the customer experience I'm going through? So yes, those are complaints that we get. But now, what we have done at MTN, of course, we will not say that we know every customer's birthday, but at least we will find ways and means to reach you. So what we have gone through, it has been a journey, a long journey. So we have digitized most of what we call high volume journeys. And these high volume journeys are actually customer journeys that create those complaints. So we have digitized them. You will notice that most of our products and services, customers are able to self-serve. So we've created a lot of options where customers don't complain through coming in the service center or going to calling a call center. So we've enabled quite a number of high volume journeys. For example, we've been receiving so many complaints around PIN reset. People forgetting their PINs on mobile money, and they end up coming to our call center, service center, all that. So how, at the end of it, with all these complaints, you find that actually, in our discussions, we've got to invest a lot in high volume journeys and ensuring that we digitize them. So we've enabled services like self-PIN reset. This time you do not have to come to the service center, you don't have to call call center. You can do it at your fingertip. So those are some of the high volumes. For example, so many people have been walking into our service centers wanting mobile money statements. This time around, we've enabled them. You can get your Momo statement right away from your phone without having to visit service centers. So those are some of the high volume journeys that we have created. The other thing is that we have created a leadership goal that each executive must lead a specific customer experience aspect that would add value to the customer. And what we have created is, okay, let's have customer engagement days. Let's, us as executives in the boardrooms, get out of our offices, go and see our customers where they are. And this has been actually a group-wide initiative across all MTN opcos. So we've got three days, okay, three times when we go out and meet our customers together with the CEO, and every executive goes to the service center, others go to the call center, they listen. They come up with a list of complaints that now we sit in the boardroom and we discuss. And we discuss those pain points that actually we need to invest and ensure that we sort out the customer complaint. Those initiatives have helped us a lot to make sure that whatever we do solves a specific high volume journey that enables us to increase our subscriber base. So we've got, for example, if I talk about one of the initiatives, Net Promoter Score. Every year we do a Net Promoter Score survey to find out what are the complaints. In terms of customer experience, where do we rate MTN vis-a-vis competition? Okay, so that Net Promoter Score comes up and tells us that, look, MTN, in terms of customer experience, you've got X number of promoters. You've got X number of detractors. You've got X number of passives. So passives are people who would not promote your products, promote your services. Promoters are people who would come to you, Stephen, and say, oh, are you using this line? Why don't you use MTN? Actually, MTN has done ABCD. You see? So that survey alone helps us to understand exactly where is MTN positioned in terms of customer experience, and where should we be, and where are we when it comes to competition. And because this survey is done at a group level, then we also try to understand where are we vis-a-vis other telcos, other MTN opcos. So those initiatives, those surveys, those engagements has helped us to handle those massive complaints that have always been associated with the telco industry. The journey is still long. We cannot say that we are there at 100%. But what we have done and the surveys that we have seen, there has been a very tremendous improvement in terms of customer experience. And I still believe that if we continue innovating, digitizing high volume journeys, and as well as combining it with a human aspect together, then we will have the best customer experience. So if you combine them, a customer who complains, for example, and goes on an app that we have created, or a self-service that we have created, if this customer gets along the way a problem and is not able to self-serve, this customer will definitely call center or visit our service center. Now we've created platforms that are used by our front desk agents, even in a call center, that if you call, they are able to see your profile. And they are able to see the most recent activity that you have done on your line. And definitely this would shorten the conversation, because now the customer will not all start from afresh, but the agent will start handling the customer complaint right from where the customer failed from. So all that has helped to increase our promoters and decrease detractors. Thank you.
Yeah, that is very succinctly put, and I would love to really now get into a very important part. What I hear about outside your conversation is that MTN is optimizing data, real-time data, to improve its services, and that is very, very pivotal in our current business environment. So I would love now to get into a very important part as we come to a wrap. Based on the report done by KPMG for the 2025-2026 Global Customer Experience Excellence Report, they said that 90% of executives believe that customer loyalty has grown. But the reality is only 40% of consumers agree to that sentiment. That leaves us with a 50-point gap, which is something that I believe leadership has to explain. When did you last personally experience your own brand service without announcing yourself, and how did that make you feel? I would appreciate if everyone shares an experience when that happened. So I think I'll start with you, Norman, just to help us close this.
Just come again on that.
So you've talked about how you have executives going out on the field to really see what's happening, which is a very good leadership initiative.
Yes.
But I would love to understand, when did Norman last experience what MTN offers? And how did that make him feel?
All right. So as I said, definitely if you see what MTN has done along the journey, I feel MTN has done a lot for the customer. And when you look at way before we had grown to this level, 8 million subscribers, we had a lot of detractors in the market. But because MTN leadership took customer experience as their own, professionally owning customer experience, and not merely delegating customer experience to, say, front desk staff or call center agents. We have further not delegated customer issues to only back office staff, but instead what we have done is to create an escalation process that would involve even the senior executives. So when you look at the surveys that we have done, both internally and external within our market, we've managed to grow the customer experience to a level that I feel MTN has at least reached, and subscribers are able to air out their feelings. They are able to reach out to us. We have done all the investments that I have done in terms of digitizing high volume journeys.
Okay.
And I feel MTN is on the right track.
Yeah, thank you so much, Norman. I'll go right to the banking sector. Rose, do you have an experience where you've experienced Bank of Kigali or any other bank, just to tell us how that made you feel when you did it?
So thank you. So at Bank of Kigali, we share some of the initiatives that Norman has mentioned of really mentorship. Every executive has around 8 branches that they mentor. And these 8 branches, on a weekly basis, we have to give some sort of a report. I visited these branches. Actually, we commit even to work there. Last week, I was in our Murerwa branch. I worked there for 4 hours. So that's really to get out of my fancy office, if I can say, and sit in that branch and see how the service is running in the branch. So you will be shocked on the reports that they give you as the way service flows. But when you're there, you actually feel it and see it. So we have a ticketing system in our branches where everyone who walks in picks up a ticket. So that tells us how long a customer has been in our branch. So been getting reports here and then to say around 8 minutes someone is served in and out, but maybe waiting time is a bit longer because they will want multiple services in our branches. So when you're there, that's when you see that actually time is lost. Even before getting that ticket, someone is just walking around with no orientation, no support. So this is telling. And that's, for us, we even called it, there's a name for it, Gemba Walk. So Gemba Walk is famous, is out there where leaders get out of their office to go and walk the process of customers. So we've done this and we do this, and out of doing that, we've seen that actually we come back and implement a new process. So we walked our journey for account opening on the digital channels. Opening an account would take around 30 to 40 minutes, and that's really for someone who is tech savvy. So we gave this to 3 executives to go and walk and really go through it. So meaning you have to go through it as a customer, not as a bank employee. So when you go through it, realize actually, yes, that's long. And there are many steps in that process that can be reduced. So you have an ownership. You come back and say, these steps are too long. Until the steps have actually been reduced, and you go back and walk it and give a feedback, now you can see that actually it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to actually open this account. So that's what we are doing. Leave the customer, really go there and do it yourself to be able to set that improvement. So for us, on the loyalty part, I think we've gone ahead to create a club. So we have a club called Ingenzi. So this club, on an annual basis, we call our loyal customers. We dine and wine them. But what we really want to get from them is the feedback. And really, they gave us real-time feedback to say, maybe we want these products and we're not able to get them, but we interact. And those are the customers that actually go back and get us more customers. So really, out of the recommendations that we get from those customers, that helps us to keep growing as a bank. Internally also now, once we get that feedback, once we see that the process is not quick enough, we have what we call a voice of a customer. And this is an internal platform that we launched so that we can get real-time feedback from either a call center or the branches or even the back office. Often you find that when you share this feedback directly to the other department without creating that automated platform, one, you will not track what has come in and how long it has taken for the response to go, but also they tend to slow down to respond to fellow colleagues because they're like, I will respond to you later. First of all, me, I'm at the back office, you are at the front, you will manage the customer. So we try to flip that and say, we have this platform where all the executives are. So when someone posts something there and says, there's an issue here, I need a platform reset or digital channels that is not working, everyone has to respond within 1 hour maximum. So I think we've created those initiatives that are helping us to really track and know that once a complaint has come, a feedback has come, we can actually track until the end. And even if you go ahead and close this ticket automatically, we can still see who has closed it when it is not resolved. So we have a lot of initiatives around that. Like Norman, for me, competition is stiff, unlike Norman, who is a monopoly. Not monopoly, but few, only one competitor. So for me, it's a sea where we really have to be on top of our game to stay there. You can be there, but staying there is a different story altogether. So yeah, that's how we're managing loyalty. We really go to the field and walk these processes and come back and improve on them. It's an ownership thing. It's accountability thing. And that's why we see that actually we're changing. Previously, where you leave it to customer experience or you just do what we call a mystery shopper or even the survey, as Norman mentioned, that's not enough because you're going to give the feedback to these same people who will take their time resolving it. So we decided to own this as a leadership and go back and see if I walk this process, is it still the same or it has changed? Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Rose. That's very well put. And honestly, looking at what you just said, it only shows me that you're walking the talk as a leader. And that's the theme for today. We want to make sure that leadership is actually making the choice to create the experiences that are worth telling stories about. Mm-hmm. So I'm now going to a very wonderful sector, which is the aviation sector. And now I'd love to really just share something Aviation, they said that globally has improved by 1.6%. I'm yet to understand whether that is true in terms of customer experience. And that was research still done by the KPMG. And the sharpest gain of any sector recorded was basically in aviation, 2025, 2026. And they mentioned that one of the pillars that led to that improvement was time and effort. The time a customer takes to actually experience your service and the effort that they have to go through to make sure they get it done. So, in your sector, I believe that customer experience is a non-negotiable. And I would love to now understand from your perspective, Audrey, you work for a multinational, Brussels Airlines. I would define it as a European brand operating in Rwanda. How do you get to work with the global standards that you have set from an internal perspective, and then relate them with the culture nuances of Rwanda, looking at the culture of Rwandans or the Rwandan market itself? How do you make sure that you're able to adapt to different markets as someone at the forefront of the airline industry? How is it working out for you, if I can put it that way? How do you play with culture differences, both internally and externally?
Okay, thank you very much. That's an interesting question. Brussels Airlines is owned by Lufthansa Group, so there are quite a number of airlines in the group. And at a group level, the customer is key. Everything, our KPIs or our trainings or our focus at the end of the day is to ensure our innovation is to ensure that the customer receives the right service that they expect. So when it comes to then Rwanda, I do not think there should be any segregation in terms of the level of service offered. The level remains the same. The Lufthansa Group Airlines, we have Lufthansa, the airline, we have Brussels Airlines, Austrian, Swiss, Discover, Eurowings. And each of them still, the hub airlines, they have to bring a touch. Brussels Airlines brings a touch of Belgium. We call it the Belgitude, a touch of Belgium into the way we serve. And that is service with passion, with calmness, with humility. When we speak of Rwanda, Rwanda is welcoming. I have the most amazing team. If you ever come to our office, you will leave knowing that the service, the experience you'll get from the team. So that alone, maintaining the standard of the airline, because it shouldn't be that because we're in Rwanda, the standard is any lower. No, the standard remains the same across the board. It is ensuring that the customers are welcomed and given the same service, whether in Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda, Belgium, America, anywhere. The standard, the service level has to remain the same. The customers are the same. We all want to travel. We are going somewhere for a specific purpose. So it is not linked to a country or anything, but linked to the service that we offer as a brand, that we maintain the service, we maintain the standards, we keep innovating. And to answer the question that you gave to the team,
yes,
I think innovation for us is very key. The experience I can give is of our app, where you download the Brussels Airlines app and you receive messages, reminders that your flight is due in X number of days. The check-in window will be open in X number of hours. You can book a flight, you can upgrade the service, you can book ancillaries. So those are some of the things that we are bringing to the table, and it is open to anyone across the globe using Brussels Airlines or any of the Lufthansa Group airlines.
That's amazingly put. And what I hear about what you're talking about is integrity. Integrity is a pillar that they still use in measuring the global customer experience index. So it means that there's consistency in every market. That what I get in Rwanda is what I'm going to get when I'm in Uganda or Kenya. And that's well put. Thank you, Audrey. And now it takes me to culture, which is a bedrock on which most of the things we are talking about are all built. So this is very important, and I would love to give you an angle from which we can build this. Hospitality is a very sensitive sector. Very sensitive in a way, in a sense that customers' needs are always changing every other time. And they normally say that for that to happen, it has to be drawn to the things they experience and the people they experience. So I'd love to understand, Nadette, you are basically into the space of people, culture, and helping your staff to deliver consistent and last mile services. How do you make sure you empower your staff to speak the same language you speak at the leadership table?
Thank you, Stephen. Hospitality is a work of heart, because this is an emotional investment. You have to love this. So the moment the leaders are empowering you, you need to go back and think why you chose hospitality, because this is a work of heart, like I said. We like to actually call it's our name here, Heartists, which is a combination of two words, heart and artists, because everyone here is an artist bringing something on the table. There's culinary, there's service, there's the front desk, even people in culture department. We are all artists who are doing this from the heart. So we like to have the mentality of making moments each day. So before we actually go ahead outside from our briefings to go out there and start making the guests smile, taking their orders, we like to make the small moments at the back of the house. Each briefing, each start of the week, each 3 times a week for managers. This is where we want to engage them. It's about them, not the guests only, because waking up in the morning just to go and serve is not enough purpose for some people. So we need to do that at the back of the house, so that the moment they step out there, they're happy about what they're going to deliver. And that also involves engaging them in their briefing, because they need to know they're heard, they're engaged. They're not sitting in the board meetings, but they are executing and taking actions on what was talked about in the briefings, in the board meetings. So we listen to them, we make sure they're heard on the platforms, in reviews, and that is how we make sure they're empowered, because after all, this is a shared goal. It's not about the organization making money, targets and budgets. No, it's not about it. So we own it. Ownership is there, accountability, and you know your purpose. I am contributing X, Y, Z. We're doing something together. So when we start to think it's a shared goal, it's a success for the team, even the country, and then we are able to empower the people.
Thank you so much, Nadette. That's well put, and I would love to say that you've mentioned it in a way that it answers very many questions from what our executives seated in this room were asking, and it was all about how do we make sure that there is consistency internally, which is all built around the language that is communicated at the top, and how does that remain the same language to the person that is facing the customer. So you are recognizing them, you are listening to them, which is very important. Like how you make a customer feel good, I think it will be very important to start doing that with your employees first. So I think this is the best time to get to hear from our audience. This time around, I have a live audience. Much of the time, I normally have a virtual audience. So I'll give the mic to my MCs. Over to you.
And very honest one, I have to say. Please help me give a warm round of applause to our panelist and moderator.
Yes. Laura?
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to have questions. I see there are eager people to ask questions. I haven't even said the statement, hands are up.
We
All
have
right,
the first
first
one
there,
already
second here.
Oh, thank you. My name is Kawagambe Ignatius, a staff of the University of Rwanda, an organization that I don't think gives the best customer experience, but we are always trying to improve. I also am a co-founder of voluntary private independent initiative called Golden Service Initiative, where we make polite noise about what we think about service delivery, customer care, customer service, mobilize the people who are enthusiastic about giving feedback, which you said you love. So we are about 6,000 people across 7 WhatsApp groups. Now, my quick comments. One, I really love it because from what I heard from all the executives there, they really admit that customer experience is a leadership responsibility, first and next training function. I really appreciate that. And going forward, because I know this is going to be recurring, this kind of engagement is going to be recurring, because we are talking about customer experience. And next time, I don't know how much time you're going to give to customers, because they want to hear the customers' experiences. Because when you talk about customer experience, I'm sure the executives want to hear the gaps so that they go and work on them. I eagerly noticed that as they wound up and as they knew you were coming to ask the customers, not a single one of them said, "What more do you want us to do for you?" I didn't hear that. And so I think that is very important, because hearing from us, because you are good at what you are doing, but you know very well that you want to do even better. And so the improvement can only come from listening to us, someone who said they love to listen to customers. So you always need to listen to us. You have done the best. Always assume it's not enough and want to listen more to us. Now, my second point is, I love about what you said, valuing, it's you, Movenpick. Valuing staff, pampering them, showing them, because what I have lived with is that what you give to your staff, the love, the value, the attention, is exactly what they are going to give to your customers. And so in private sector, I'm happy you are good at that. You are better at that than in public service. I have seen Irene here, and we are both of us public servants. But I know where we come short when it comes to how much we value our staff, what we give them, how we show them that we really care about them, intentionally knowing that that's what they are going to transmit to our customer. My second last point is communication. Someone said communication. I'm a middle manager staff where I work, and sometimes when I think we need to communicate about something, my bosses I think that is not necessary. And which is why I appreciate that you continue, continue engaging leaders, because when leaders understand these aspects of customer service, they will it will impact greatly what they do, what the service they give, because communication, timely communication, someone mentioned timely communication. The other day, I had to go to MTN because I was seeing things that were asking about as customers, and they were not communicating.
Mr. Kabagambe?
Yes?
May we please ask you to maybe wrap it up?
I know. By the way, what I'm telling them, you can look at their faces. They want to hear. So let me finish, because they know I live with it every day. Yes, I had to come to your place, and we talked about it, and you received us very well. But you hadn't yet communicated the explanation. So communication had taken long. So always communicate first. Thank you so much for listening to me.
All right. Who wants to take on those questions? I think they were directed, one to Movenpick and one to who?
Majority of which were comments, I think.
Okay, they were just comments.
They were just comments.
Anybody wants to add anything to what he said?
I think I could say something to something you remarked. You mentioned that you're a middle manager, and sometimes you give feedback and there is no change effected. And if John Maxwell says that you don't have to wait for the position to lead, you have to be able to lead from where you are. That is why earlier I mentioned that I believe that even the cleaner or the sales agent, the ticketing agent, the crew, all of them are leading. So it is a condition of your heart, because you have a role to play. Each one of us has a role to play in the jobs that we're doing. When you look at yourself as a leader, as that your feedback matters, and also as leaders, we have to ensure that our staff feel psychologically safe to express themselves, because some of the ideas that will change the narrative will come from the staff. I believe that the employers are the first customers in any organization. If they don't buy into the vision, like she said, that we celebrate the staff, but they need to understand what you are about. What is the vision of the company? That they are the first. Have they tried the products that they are selling? Do they know what they are selling? Because without that passion in the staff, then we cannot transmit that to you, the users. I do not know if that helps in a way, but all of us should be able to lead from the place where we are at. I gave an example earlier of the janitor. They are responsible for taking someone to space. So even the cleaner, if they come to office and if a customer comes early and they find someone cleaning the office, they want a service, the cleaner should be confident enough to give them feedback, to assist them, because that if we have equipped them in such a way that they can assist, because you're part of a team, everyone has a role to play, and it matters what the other one brings to the table.
Thank you so much, Audrey. Anybody else from the panelists wants to add on to? Yes, please, Rose, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Kabagambe, for the good comments that you've shared and the feedback. But I think for me, I'd like to add you on our list. I don't know if you're a Bank of Kigali customer, but if you're not, I'm happy to open an account for you today. So we have a list of customers actually who volunteer to give us feedback. And often, even before we launch this product, we run this product past them, and then they can test and give us real-time feedback. So my ask is, can I add you on that group? Yeah, the golden service. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Anything else from the panelists before I take another question? All right. For the people asking the question, please keep the question simple and direct it to one specific speaker, please, for time's sake.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Francine Munyaneza. I'm the founder and CEO of Munyaxeco, and we are in solar energy. As many of us, I think we are all your customers. I'm your customer, and my company also is a customer. I would like to have some question. You mentioned Rose, you mentioned, and our colleague there also mentioned it, this Ingenzi, yes, I don't know how you call it, but how do you, is it on a voluntary base or you choose the profile? And how can you communicate more with your customers to be interested to be part of this? Because for me, as your customer, I didn't know that it exists. That's the first. Secondly, as many of us also, and it's not particular to BK, but many of us, we are very frustrated by the banks and the way they treat us. Yeah, what do you propose? Because it's really a long pending issues, and we would like to have something else. We would like really to see when we go to the banks that we are not frustrated. And again, it's not particular to Beka. It's really all the bank. How do you make yourself in the future to really give something different from the others? This is for Beka. And for MTN, again, we are your customers. And we receive sometimes some messages, very regular messages, where we are invited, even if we still have money, to buy more on your product. What is the logic behind that? Because it's really annoying messages. That's how I consider it. And how do you care about us and avoid to send this kind of, or maybe you have another strategy that I would like to understand, but definitely we were discussing about that even with colleagues and friends, and we say, it's really annoying to receive this message pushing us when we don't need them. Thank you.
Please proceed with the answers.
Want to go first? I go first. So thank you, Francine, for those questions. So I think the very first one, which is Ingenzi Club. So these are customers who've been with us for the 20 years or more. So that's the selection criteria. 20 years or more, you've been with the bank, then you're selected to join that club. And that club has benefits, but also we meet on an annual basis to just get feedback from you, and also some of the recommendations that you give that the bank can work on in terms of new products or new services that we can offer. So yeah, that's the simple criteria that we have for our Ingenzi Club. And this is growing. And maybe if there's demand, yes, we can reduce and even take more people in that club. So we can discuss that. So the second one on the frustration. So I don't know where the frustration is coming from. Is it on our turnaround time? Is it on the products that we offer? So if I speak more generally, I think what we try and do as Bank of Kigali is really to listen to the customers a bit more, to do the surveys, to do the mystery shoppers, and to continuously improve on the services that we offer. So the innovation, my colleague mentioned it, we are also constantly, we actually have a factory, a digital factory, that is thinking on how best we should reach our customers, how best we should serve them, and to a point that we feel like listening to you and getting that feedback and channeling that feedback into the decision that we make. That way we are evolving as a bank and we are continuously improving. So on the, and also when you look at the design and the changes that we are making in our branches, it's more customer centric. That's what we're trying to do. Previously you would probably join a banking hall and it's difficult to see anyone there, and it's just go straight to get cash in, cash out. So what we're trying to do is to design sort of human-centric. There's a person there as soon as you walk in to meet and greet and be able to orient you. So those are the improvements and innovations that we're trying to do across board. But this is now physical, but even on the digital part, we try and remove and reduce many touch points that we have to really make it more customer-centric. But as I mentioned, we're here to listen, and we want to listen a bit more so that we can continuously really change how we serve the customers. But if there's something more specific that we can do, I'll be happy to have a chat with you so that we can incorporate that in the feedback that we get. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that feedback. It's actually a very good feedback because what we do in telco there's what we call customer value proposition or customer value management, CVM. And we use this CVM to understand the behavior of a customer. So when you are purchasing, you are used to purchase a certain specific product, we are seeing the trend, okay? And sometimes we come in to advise our customers and say, okay, so you are buying this product, but you can even get more for less. That is what we call CVM. So some of those messages are actually educative and to support the customer to get more for less. However, there are other messages that come through that probably may irritate you. However, most of those services, because actually whatever we do, we are regulated by the regulator, okay? So there is always an opt-out option, We do not send any messages promoting our products and services, and we do not include there an opt-out option, okay? Because this is something that we ensure our customers don't get irritated with our messages. Unless probably it's a specific concern that we can look at it in details. But those are the two ways that we actually either promote our services to the customer, but again, some of the services we always add there an opt-out option. But if it's not part of the two, then we can look at it and try to advise correctly. Thank you.
It's a message that we receive like every 2 or 3 days, where it's mentioned, oh, your balance is like 700 Rwandan francs, but you can buy for 500 a lump sum, you can buy something. And there is no opt-out options. It will receive like every 2 or 3 days. And believe me, we talk between ourselves, and for me it's very new, it's like 2 or 3 months. Really? For others, it seems that they receive that since a longer time. So believe me, every 2 or 3 days to receive that is not really nice. Yeah.
Thank you. That's we take that feedback positive, and we look at it. We will actually also engage you to understand specifically what those messages are and where they come from. There are some other partners actually that we work with, and probably they do send such messages. So we will engage. I've got my team around. We'll engage and have a further discussion or understanding of the problem. Thank you very much for that feedback.
I know you have many questions. I'll take 2 more questions, but please, let's keep them concise. Please, let's not add a question on top of a question. Just keep it concise. So I'll take one here and one there.
I already have the microphone, so I'll be at liberty of sharing my idea. My name is Murerwa Abdelaziz. I'm a staff member of BRD. But tonight I came in as a vocal person when it comes to services on social media. So I would like to just point out some few points that I noted during this panel conversation. First of all, I mentioned something about social media. I do believe every institution sitting at the board tonight, they do receive a lot of complaints when it comes to social media. And some of the institutions do treat social media as a threat, instead of that point you mentioned of collecting feedback. But up to date, we still have a lot of companies. Tonight we'll just be talking about private sector. I'm not going to mention any public sector, even though I see RDB sitting on my left side. But we just tackle private sector because you're there. So you don't actually seem to be cooperative when it comes to feedback online. You normally treat it as a threat instead of a compliment that will make your business better. So I do think there is a huge homework when it comes to that. It's either you don't respond or You ignore the feedback at large. Second thing, it comes to, for me, it happened to me at MTN like 4 times. So now we are talking about some concrete evidence. Some one of the evidence sitting here. So once you call at your call center, you normally have to choose languages. So every time you choose Kinyarwanda, no one responds. So you have to choose English, then respond in Kinyarwanda. So it's a bit, it doesn't, for me, it doesn't make any sense because normally they respond with some sort of excuses that the line of Kinyarwanda do have a long queue. So if you choose English, but again, I've been in banking industry for close now to 10 years, so I know that they're lying, but it's okay. I would love to hear from you. Another point that I would like to highlight, I think it tackles now Brussels. In my last experience, even though I mentioned that currently I'm working at BRD, I've been with international companies, international banks before. So you tend to have group policies, group structure. I think the moderator mentioned it when it comes to customizing. I'm not saying that you should lower the standard of the service because now we are talking about Rwanda. There is a component. I think that's the reason, the very reason we moved from customer service to customer experience, the new trend. Because we usually had to, I think for the last 5 years, we used to have just customer service managers, chiefs, but now we're having customer experience. So I think it's the new component that needed to be tackled. So now we are talking about having a structure, having policies from group offices, but when it comes to, let's say, Rwanda as a standalone country, it has nothing to do with lowering the standard, but customizing. So lowering the standard and customizing, they are 2 different components from my understanding at least. Because we are talking about the model that was designed in Brussels.
May I please ask you to wrap up because of time, please?
I will be doing that in the next phrase. So having the international company having a policy that was constructed, designed in Brussels, bringing it to Rwanda and customizing it in Rwanda's context has nothing to do with rolling the service. It has something to do with knowing what customer needs. Because my needs will be different from someone who is sitting in Switzerland. So just to highlight a few. Thank you.
Please, panelists, you may proceed.
All right. Thank you very much. What I can say to that, we'll use just one phrase, relationships. When we know our customer, then we customize the product for you based on what we have in the group, at the group level, and the relationships and interactions with the customer. For example, if I come to BRD, what are your main travel destinations? What are your expectations? Because that is customer value selling. What are you bringing to us and what can we offer you in return? So that is there. The standard is not going to be lowered, but we want to hear from you. Then we see how we can customize and meet in the middle and offer you the service that you expect or require. I do not know if that answers you or is what? All right. Thank you very much. And I'll be coming to you at BRD.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that feedback. Call center, we've really worked and invested a lot in our call center, given the volumes of customer calls that come through. And we will need to analyze further your question because if you're saying that you select, because IVR will give you options to select the language you want. So when you select Kinyarwanda, then you are answered in English, right? Right?
No. My question was, you have 3 options.
Yes.
Kinyarwanda, English, and French.
Right.
So if you have to pick, Pick Kinyarwanda.
Yes.
So we'll wait until no one responds and you give up.
Yes.
But by the time we pick English, they respond immediately. So then once you do that to me, then they respond to you in Kinyarwanda because you have been actually ignoring me.
No, actually, what happens, call center receives quite a lot of calls, okay? So what we have done and what we have invested in, for you not to wait for long and be answered as soon as possible, we have enhanced our IVR, interactive voice response. So we have beefed the IVR with quite a number of services based on the high volume journeys that I talked about. So you can self-serve within IVR, and we can see that and see that the customer has been satisfied. Because from the time we enhanced our IVR with quite a lot of services, we've seen the response rate, rather the adoption rate for IVR, jumping from 40% to now 70%. So most of our customers are now getting served within IVR environment. Now, because again of so many calls, there is congestion around different languages, okay? It's not that they have ignored you, but probably most of the people are selecting Kinyarwanda, but when you get through, you are answered by an English person. And that is done by back office to ensure that because they are looking at these calls real time. So they are trying to see, okay, this customer has waited for long. There is quite a long queue on this line. Let's route this customer to this available agent, because that available agent is available at that moment. Because if you look at the dashboard, you'll see calls coming in all the time. So we understand your experience, but we have tried to enhance our IVR to reduce a number of calls. And like I said, again, we have digitized most of the high volume journeys, but of course the journey still continues. We are still doing the enhancement and digitizing most of our services. But we take your feedback and we really appreciate for that. Thank you.
Yes, good evening. My name is Joris. I'm the CEO of 2 companies, but today I'm going to represent only one of those companies. Maybe some of you know it. It's Umwiza City Center. It's a commercial building we're building in town. It's right next to the town hall, in front of I&M Bank and Beka Insurance. So I have one question. It's going to be quick, but before I ask it, first I want to say Brussels Airlines, you're right about your customer service. It's very good, never had any problem. Beka, I wish I could give you a compliment, but I'm with your competitor, so I can't give you a compliment. MTN, I have no complaint. You're a good monopoly. And the Movenpick too, no complaints. And now, if I ever have a problem here, I'll tell them I know the manager. Yes. So my question is about how can I make my employees care more about the customer? Because last month we were visiting the property. We were visiting the property with a client, and we were showing around the space. And I was there with my engineer. And one of the clients said that they will need a pipe that passes through a specific place. And my engineer said, that would be hard to do. And I just told him, no, it's okay. We'll think about it. And I had to pull that engineer aside and tell him that you don't tell your customer that this is going to be hard for us to do. That's not their question. You just tell them that we'll think about it. And the way I try to make my employees care about the customer is that I tell them that I'm not the one paying you, the customer is. And I keep trying to remind them that, but I believe that's not enough. So I was wondering, what can I do more? How can I make my employees care about my customer? Any advice is welcome. Thank you.
Any specific panelists you want to answer this, or?
It's okay.
It's open for you. Who wants to take it? Yes, go Nadette.
Thank you, Joyce. And to me, you cannot give what you don't have. So for the employees to care about the guests, they have to feel that they are also cared for. Again, the psychological aspect of it. So if the engineer said, oh, this is going to be hard, first of all, they need to take it as a challenge, a good challenge. This is the time to showcase my skills. This is the time for me to show my art, you know? So they need to it has to land to them as a positive thing, not just another job that's going to take him days and nights to seal, but as a positive challenge, even to prove why you're there, because again, their purpose matters. So to me, that's where the leaders, like what you did, it's not just to tell them that we will think about it. Think about it together and actually do something about it. It's not, we've been to so many places where they tell you, give us a few time, we will think about it. This is where leadership comes in, to think about it, action, and if it's not possible, even communicate the way you're going back to the guests to tell them this is not going to be possible for us right now, but we can come up with a tool, a software, something that we can do about it in the future, so that a few years from now, a few days from now, when you come back with the same requests, we will have come up with an idea on how to tackle it. So again, it has to come from within. It has to come from within. We should empower them to yes, it's okay to share your ideas, or if something is possible or not. But again, think outside the box. You've been somewhere where it was not working, but here we actually talk about things. We tackle them. A, B, C, D, is possible or not? And if not, how are we going back to the guests to communicate to them?
Thank you so much, Nadette. I know you have a lot of questions, guys. I know. Our panelists are still going to be here. What do you think? Maybe I should take a vote. Should we have one more question or two more, and then we have our guest of honor? One more question, or we continue with the program?
Actually, two. Yeah,
okay.
Two more questions. Thank you. Because I'm building on what Morenzi said, and I will take only 30 seconds. The other time I took 5 minutes. Now, he talked about management organizations who don't encourage feedback. And I want to say, I've worked with MTN, I've worked with Becca, Brussels, and I've heard from you. You all sound like you really love feedback. And that's only private organizations. I also have the experience, very good experience with RDB, where when we gave them very important feedback, the CEO himself took action, acted upon it, and he was a very publicly appreciative. So there are organizations that really value feedback, but there are others that don't. Now, coupled with customers who are timid about giving feedback. So you really need to bear in mind that, and I'm asking you, what will you be doing going forward to make sure that you really make it very open, make it known about you, that you value feedback, so that you encourage people, the people you give service, to give it willingly without any fear or something like that. Because what you said, the customer who goes away quietly, they go away quietly because they haven't had the guts to give their feedback. So you really need to encourage them, and I need to hear from you what you want to do about that. Thank you.
One more, and then that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. I just wanted to share the experience that I have as a customer. I take your services, and normally it goes well, and I see your efforts to do it right, and it's all good. But there is a moment that there is something not working, and then that's when I approach your customer service to say, listen, this is not working. So there is a problem. And now what I'm sort of experiencing all the time, and it's not only in one industry. It's here in Rwanda everywhere. The moment that there is a problem, it seems that the best way for people to not to communicate so that the problem maybe will go away. So if there is a problem, and I say, and the answer that they get, yeah, I will call you back, and you never call back. And it's not only with one industry, it's everywhere. So I think it's a cultural issue. I think one of the things that you have to address as leaders is the cultural fact that in Rwanda, if something is not going well, it is tricky, you're not sure if you will be able to solve it, then you just don't talk about it and you hope that it's disappearing. Because it is embarrassing, apparently, to say, listen, I don't know, but I will find out for you. I will come back then and then. I think that's a very important part of what is happening for customers and what is the customer experience, what you should address as leaders. And it is difficult because apparently there is something cultural that you have to overcome, so you have something that you have to learn, to relearn, as it were, in terms of behavior. That it is okay to say, listen, I don't know the answer, but I will ask that and that, and I will come back to you then and then do it. And then even if you say, I thought that I could solve it in 3 days, but now it's 3 days done and I still haven't solved it, but you're not forgotten. That kind of communication is not natural for people. You have to train them to do that. And you have to push as leaders to get them to have that behavior. And that will really improve your customer experience.
Thank you so much for that insightful comment. For the sake of gender equality, again, we're talking about customer experience. We're going to end with a lady.
Panelists, please take note of all the questions then so that you answer all together at once.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Marie-Florence Ouimana. I am the founder and manager of Tea House Boutique Hotel, Restaurant and Workspace. My question is very simple. I know it's not easy, but I think the first customer experience that we like to enjoy is just to, when a customer is in front of you, to greet and to smile. And so I don't know which challenge do we have, because mostly when we are in MTN, when we are at Bank of Kigali, this is the simplest way of giving a customer experience, because if we start from that, then if there are more challenging issue, but at least you smile, you greet, good morning, welcome, how may I assist you? I don't understand why this is so difficult to implement in most of our private and public sector.
Over to you, panelists.
Thank you. I can go fast. Okay. Thank you all for your feedback. We really take note of them, and for sure, as Bank of Kigali, we probably experienced most of them, and we have come up with initiatives around all of them. If I go with the last, ladies first, we have what we call do's and don'ts. When you see our tellers, at the back, if you walked around, you would actually see we put do's and don'ts. So the do's, the first thing is smile to a customer, greet a customer, and acknowledge a customer. So we really have thought about it, and we've got feedback about it. We have trained, we have talked about it. So I think the next level for us is really on the accountability, and I think enforcing that. And how that is going to be done is by mystery shopping. You as a customer going there and looking at this and giving us feedback. And I think I applaud Mr. Kabagambe that it's difficult. We rarely get feedback from our customers on such things. You will go there, no one will smile, and sometimes you walk off and you're like, oh, these people, maybe it's a culture issue. But please share that feedback with us. And when we get it, it's not always tough that this person is going to be expelled from their job. Or it's really training. It's us to be able to give the feedback, to be able to tell them that a customer came here and this is what happened, and we should be able to correct that and continuously be consistent in our conversation and talk to them. Every morning we have quick meetings with the staff before they start their day, And that's what we remind them, the do's and don'ts. And this is consistent. But I think accountability will be next. And maybe we have to be really tough at some point. Someone will have to be punished for this sort of thing to change. So I think that's what I can respond there. On the culture, I think Movenpick has been talking about culture all evening. So culture, I think how we're doing it and how we've been doing it at Bank of Kigali is really to empower our staff and to tell them that promise, whatever you have promised, you make sure you deliver on that promise. Again, if you haven't delivered on that, we really need this to get this feedback to be able to go back and tell this person about this. And I take it that the back office people have to be able to support the front office people for the service to be smooth. So what we've tried to do in operations is to come up with fish practices. I think this is started in America, where these people have to be motivated to be able to give the service. So we have 4 key practices that we do, that we practice every day, that helps to motivate these people. 1, when you're coming to work, choose your right attitude. What is your attitude today? Because we do this repetitive work, so people, by the time they've served 20, 50, you can imagine 50 customers a day, they're really tired and demotivated. So we need to motivate them for them to continuously be able to give that service. So make your day, play, encourage. So these 4 practices, they practice them on a monthly basis, on a daily basis, so that we can see that these people are motivated to be able to do that job. So choose your attitude every time you come to work. How do you want your attitude to be in the day? If you don't be intentional about it, it will be difficult for you to go through the day without maybe showing a customer that you're tired or you're not smiling or all the things that you've experienced. So for me, I take this feedback, and this is what will help us to continuously give it back to our staff so that they can continue to really change that perception that you have out there. On the social media, I think we've, as Bank of Kigali, tried to engage. We're not shying away. We take the comments, and we see that in the reports that we receive at the back end, to be able to say that these are the comments that we receive from the social media, and this is automated, and this is how we've responded. So we can see that the interactions are coming from there. But maybe what I would say is to open up a little bit and engage with people on the social media, maybe as leaders, come on and interact and be able to respond those questions. That's where we can improve. But in terms of feedback, we get it, and in the decisions at the back end, it's actually used. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other panelist wants to add something?
I think what I can, and what most of the main points actually she has addressed. But Mr. Kawagami, coming to your point, feedback is very important, and we really emphasize it at MTN. So there are quite a number of tools that we have put in place to collect feedback from customers. Some of them I've talked about them. However, we still need to invest. We still need to invest. We still need leadership support so that we can bring more interactive tools that can enable us to engage with customers. We've got tools that we are planning actually to bring in place. Recently I was, for example, in Ghana, and they've got a very good queue management system, you know. But this queue management system is well enhanced, that it collects feedback real time and transmits data that makes sense to the back office team, and they are able to define the customer to enhance some of the high volume journeys, you know. So this is a tool that we need to invest here, and that's what our plan is. We are engaging our technical team to also do an internally developed solution so that we can have it here. It would help us amazingly. We've got other tools like chatbot, voice of the customer. Those are tools that other OPCOs are using, and we want to bring them here. So they will increase and add on the tools that we already have to collect feedback. And that's what we alluded to, that actually discussions in the boardroom should be, it should not be about financial performance only, but discuss financial performance and also discuss investing in customer experience at the same level. Do not separate the two, or do not minimize one at the expense of the other. So those are crucial discussions that we want to bring on the table and ensure that we promote customer experience in Rwanda as well. If OPCOs in other countries are able to achieve this, why not in Rwanda? Why don't we copy and paste? We are not going even to start from scratch. We have where to start from. Okay? So that is a very good point, and that is what MTN is driving to ensure that we interact so much with the customer and collect feedback from there. The rest really, my colleague talked about them, but feedback that you talked about, you see, that is also another problem that I see in this country, whereby we've left customer experience to be managed by the front desk people. And you find that service center managers are not there readily to help agents. Solutions are there, but we've left customer experience within the hands of junior staff. You get? At my level, I've received quite a number of customer complaints. I've moved from this service center, I've moved to this one, I've moved to this one. The solution is not forthcoming. But what is the problem? The problem is we are not there as leaders to support these people. The solutions are there. But how do we train? How do we empower? How do we support these people? So your feedback is taken, but again, it is something that we need to focus on as leaders so that we can improve our customer experience within Rwanda. But I understand your frustration and concern around this. Thank you.
Something regarding what you said. I believe that there is nothing that anyone cannot learn. If we equip our teams to have a mindset of learning, then there will not be that thing that because I am Ugandan, that is how we act, or because I am Rwandan, that is how we act. No, it is a question of learning. I was mentioning earlier when we were discussing that most often it is always lack of knowledge or there is no communication about it. Because if someone comes to me and I am not confident with the request they're asking for, then it may seem like someone is timid. But it is because you do not know. We should empower our staff to be responsible. If a customer is in front of you, if it is something that you do not know, pack it. And you're like, can I get back to you? But also to encourage them to follow up. And that is what he said about feedback. If you've given feedback, if a customer has given feedback, then follow up so that they know that they've been heard and the issue has been resolved. Because if there is no follow-up, then it leaves a customer wondering. If someone has made a complaint on social media, it is so easy for someone to complain on social media. Maybe for some companies, it's not necessarily that they find it as a threat, but maybe they come to you inbox so that you want to know, to better understand, because we're not going to have a conversation on social media about what happened, but I'll come to you, Rose, tell me exactly what happened. And you know what happens? Sometimes these issues are resolved, but we always are quick to complain. Rarely, few instances will someone go back to the same social media where they complained to say, oh, this issue was resolved. So then it seems or it appears like it was not resolved. Yet actually some of these instances have been resolved. But I think a culture of staff empowered to know that it is okay. One, that if they have made a mistake, it is normal, but what are the learnings? Do you take the right actions out of your learnings? When we have delayed your luggage, I'll use my industry. When we've delayed your luggage, are we communicating? Did you leave the right email? Because sometimes it could be a human error where there is something missing in the email, then the feedback has not reached the end point. But that when we realize the error was made, do we take responsibility? So I will conclude by saying that we should empower our teams to be responsible, accountable, and that we should follow up with our customers, because the experience, when we talk about, and someone said that it's no longer customer service, it's customer experience, because when you came to Brussels Airlines, how did you feel? When you went online to book a ticket, was it easy? Was the app easy to use? That is the experience when you're on board, when you're in the lounge, when you are at the airport. That is why it's now an experience, because every service that you offer, the experience, how someone feels at the end of the day, matters more than anything else, because that is what will ensure that the NPS score is high and that you have repeat business and that your business is profitable. That is what I could say. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to mention a few things on the culture and the reviews. I'll say that hospitality, we're not struggling with reviews. I think we're very big on reviews. We long for the reviews. I'll use Movenpick as an example. When we started, we did some kind of survey where we had a few individuals picked from the audience to come and test the new product in town, because we want to know this is the hotel built for Rwandans, even other nationalities, but we want to know what you think about it. You've been plenty of places. This is a new product in town. And we wanted to know exactly how you felt and what can we change and what's the new thing, the new dish, what we're bringing to the country. And if you look at our online reviews, I'll say we take it pretty positive. We build on them. And we're not shying away from it, because that's how we are going to, we are on the right track. It's a journey, and that's how we're going to build on them. I'll say reviews in hospitality is a really huge deal for us, and we're building on them. And on the culture, and I think it's up to the leaders again to create an environment where a staff is confident to go back to the manager and explain what happened, because sometimes they disappear, again, because of communication or the knowledge. I think if we create an environment where a waiter is confident to say, oh, let me call my manager, and they're confident that I will be safe. My manager is here to help. They're not here to punish me or to condemn whatever I've been doing or communicating to the guest. I forgot an order or a booking. I think it's again comes back to the leaders, like how are we dealing with whatever comes out of the conversation that was that happened between the guests and the frontline personnel, because at the end of the day, this is a shared goal. We're working towards the same thing, you know. So I think leaders really do 90% of the work here, because whatever happens in the back reflects at the front. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadette, and everyone on the panel. We're getting ready to go into our next section, but this has been really insightful. So thank you again to everyone who asked questions, Mr. Kabagambe, Abdelaziz, and everyone else, Jonas. And to our panelists, thank you so much for sharing. I've seen people nodding their heads. You're preaching to the choir. So get ready for the questions that are coming your way during networking, which again goes to the audience. If you didn't get the chance to ask the question, it's because the time is limited. But I'm looking at you. Get ready to ask your questions directly to the panelists. So again, help me to give a warm round of applause to our panelists and speakers as they make their way back to their seats. Come on, keep it moving until they get to their seats, because they've been doing a lot of talking, a lot of
Oh,
inspiration.
yes. Please, could we have a picture of the panelists, please? The picture of the panelists together there before you go.
If we could please have our keynote speaker join them as well. They should have told you that they were wearing red and pink. It's Women's Month, by the way. Happy Women's Month to all the ladies here.
I think she got our memo, black, black.
Right.
All right, once again, please,
Thank
a round
you
of applause
so
to our
much.
moderator and panelists, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now move to a leadership reflection from someone whose work directly shapes Rwanda's service and tourism excellence. Our keynote speaker sits at the intersection of national strategy, service excellence, and economic growth. As Chief Tourism Officer at Rwanda Development Board, she plays a critical role in positioning Rwanda as a destination known not only for beauty, but for service excellence. Please join me in welcoming the leader passionate about excellence, innovation, and building high-performing teams, Irene Murerwa. Please, round of applause for her.
Distinguished business leaders, esteemed sponsors, dear panelists, all protocols observed, good evening again. It is a privilege to join you this evening for this important conversation on customer experience and Rwanda service excellence journey. Over the past 30 years, Rwanda has intentionally built a nation that delivers with discipline, reliability, and clarity of direction. This commitment has strengthened institutions, improved governance, and created an environment that is safe, organized, and predictable. This foundation has positioned Rwanda as a trusted destination for investment, tourism, and global events. As the country advances Vision 2050 and NSD2, the conversation is shifting from infrastructure and access to quality, consistency, and experience. Rwanda's strategic choice to compete on value rather than volume makes service excellence a fundamental driver of national competitiveness. Rwanda aims to deliver high-quality, consistent experience across all sectors that serve visitors, investors, and citizens. Progress is already evident in improved digital services, enhanced air connectivity, national cleanliness and safety, and growth in premium hospitality offerings. These achievements reflect a deliberate effort to make Rwanda easy to navigate, responsive, and reliability as a nation. As Rwanda global visibility increases, expectations rise accordingly, meaning service excellence is no longer optional but essential for maintaining a credible high-value positioning. Customers experience Rwanda as one continuous journey, not separate institution. From airport arrival to immigration, transport, hospitality, payment, and departure. Each touchpoint contributes to a single perception. A seamless journey builds confidence, increases spending, and strengthens word-of-mouth promotion, one of the most powerful drivers of destination choice. I came in a bit late, but I've noticed that the audience was extremely captivated and motivated in terms of the exchange. What I noticed from the panelists, yes, they were receptive, at the same time a bit surprised about some of your feedback, or I would say even complaints or criticism, or just simple observation. For me, it It emphasizes that we need to have more of this type of exchange, conversation, but honest. And we need to be more receptive as leaders. For instance, the person who mentioned that whenever pressing Kinyarwanda, he doesn't get any response. He dies, and if he presses English, automatically he gets someone to pick up. What does that say? We need to go back and try exactly what he says. We don't even need to explain so much. He tells you his experience. Obviously, he has no reason of making this up. So we need to be willing, first of all, to put ourselves in the position of the customer. We need to be willing to understand that some of them will be happy, some of them will be extremely unhappy, and some of them will be neutral. My journey started as a call center middle manager at BPR. And at the time, I believe we had no call center at any bank or financial institution. So it was a difficult journey because even waiting to receive one call used to be perhaps in an hour or two, we will receive 2 or 3 calls. But today, MTN has a good problem. It's an opportunity, It shows you that it has evolved, and people they have picked up interest, and they do want to use that service. So to you, MTN, I think his problem is very simple. An unhappy customer, it's also an opportunity to become a loyal customer. And when you talk about culture, I love it. I don't know if you've been to Rwanda for how many years. We have indeed a lot of diversity, even within ourselves, because of the history. It has now become a force. You can believe that I'm Rwandan, yes, but I will defer the way I will communicate. I will defer the way I will receive observation or criticism, or even the way I will be standing, I will be speaking, I will be laughing or eating. That doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. I think culture has to be diverse. Culture has to offer a multitude of variety so that people can find themselves within that person. To you who ask, how do I make sure that my staff understand that the customer is king? I may not have phrased it the way you want, but I think that's what you were trying to ask. I believe the answer is very clear. How do you do it, first of all? How do you resonate to your internal customer? I believe the person from Movenpick answered it well. She said, you need to care for them. But is that enough? I think you also need to lead by example. Requesting for someone to go beyond and think beyond what they know. An engineer will be structured as an engineer. They love buildings, they love materials, they perhaps don't love people. That's how I will see it. But you need to teach them that. Soft skills is not something that you will be born with. You need to be trained. So at RDB, I am happy that you are delighted with the fact that the CEO has been able to respond. What we need to know is, even if he was able to respond, is everyone really satisfied with his response? How do we get that feedback? Today, I'm extremely delighted that I wasn't on this panel. I'm pretty sure you will have made sure that I feel it, because the way you were going at every single panelist here, first you have interest and you know the business. So I am very happy that you were able to say, I have not been receiving them for such a long time, but every 2 to 3 days is too much. I do receive your SMS, by the way, your text messages. So I had to go back to my phone and find out. It's just that I never read them. So perhaps it doesn't bother me because of that. But indeed, you are very right. What can we do? But you can tell that all of you work for a very popular institution, either because you have made an impact, you're providing this needed service. So it's an opportunity to now mingle, go back to each and every person who has requested, an answer, a feedback, or even hold you accountable for a service that they did not like. What I would have loved to hear is your own experience, as panelists. Perhaps I came in late. It would have been very good to hear if you had gone anywhere else. What was your experience? What have you done? So that you can reflect on what should be done within your own institution. So I thought I would give a speech, as I tried, and I thought also that I will be a bit more human, since we talk about connection and relationship, so that you get to know who I am, and perhaps you will start picking interest in RDB and be gentle. Who knows? So customer experience is directly linked to Rwanda's broader economic agenda. As you know, we have what we call priority sectors. Tourism is one of them. Investment, conference and events, we call it the business tourism or MICE. The digital transformation, I'm very glad that you touched upon it and you kept saying we are now trying to invest heavily in ABCD when it comes to the digitization journey. And I think at RDB is what we are doing. It's not always easy when you have so many mandates. I don't know if everyone has been at RDB, but if you're a business owner, you probably interacted with RDB. So I will welcome during the networking. Please come at me. Please come to me. And share. And this is the only way for us to keep improving. So experience is part of the product, not separate from it. So if you are launching a product, if you are launching a new service, remember that if it's not done the right way, you will receive multitude of people telling you, you know what, we're not going to even try it. So remember that your product is also the experience, and at the end of the day, it becomes the reason why your customer will still be attracted to you, or that will become appealing. So Rwanda has built a strong foundation of infrastructure, systems, and recognition under the Visit Rwanda brand. I'm pretty sure you all know Visit Rwanda, isn't it? That's nice. The next phase requires consistency across all sectors and all interaction. Technology will streamline processes, but leadership and culture. Again, please, I'm going to repeat this. Leadership and culture will determine impact, and positive one. A visitor or investor that does not experience individual institution, they experience Rwanda as one integrated system. I repeat, from the time we receive someone in Rwanda at the airport until they reach the hotel, until they go to a restaurant, until they buy a SIM card, until they open an account, until they go back to their destination. It's a journey. So if we are not able to secure the look, the feel, the how, everything while the person is visiting or even deciding if they should stay in Rwanda or invest, then we have lost already one visitor, one customer, one investor. It's a ripple effect. So the sustaining Rwanda's high-value strategy depends on the leadership commitment, cross-sector alignment, and a shared national service standard. So I know you are very eager for me to finish this. So I'm closing. I express my sincere appreciation to the European Business Chamber for organizing the Rwanda Customer Experience Leadership Dialogue. This important platform brings together leaders who shape Rwanda's service culture and economic landscape. By fostering collaboration, sharing insights, and elevating the national discourse on customer centricity, EBCR contributes meaningfully to Rwanda's ambition to deliver world-class experiences for citizens, visitors, and investors. Your leadership continues to raise the bar for service excellence across the country. Before I close, I would want to ask, we talked about feedback, we discussed so many things, and we had heated debate, but also I hope a productive one. I would want to ask, how many people, when you have come to Movenpick, let it be the first time, second, even third or fourth, how many of you have tried to see if they have a way where you can scan and provide your comments? How many of you were curious to do so? So this evening, if you enter Movenpick, did you try to see if there's a QR code for customer feedback? Did you try to see if you were able to go back and think Should I maybe give a comment on ABCD? Even being in this room, how many of you are willing to go back and say, I loved what happened, I am going to post it on social media, or simply I did not like it and I would want to see someone and provide constructive criticism? How many of you thought about it this evening? One person. Two now. Three? Three, of course, yeah. Someone else? So what I'm trying to say is everyone should feel responsible at any point of time. If you really want to contribute to the journey of this country, or even anywhere else that you deem necessary, it's important that you also cultivate your own way of motivating yourself to provide that feedback. It doesn't have to be on social media. It could even be to a friend. It could be becoming the next ambassador of word of mouth after you have visited a place like Movenpick, a new place especially. All I'm asking is whenever you enter a place where they offer service or you are buying a product, contribute to make Rwanda better by providing that feedback. If you are able to be in touch with the leaders, more than happy. If not, just give back. Tell us what you think. And don't be shy. It starts there. We all come from different backgrounds today. It's not about culture. But I'm pretty sure the majority of you just came in, love what you see, drink the water, and looking forward for a long night. Tomorrow is a holiday. But, but the feedback is very important for the people at Movenpick. I know she mentioned that when they started, they call upon a lot of people to provide what they thought, should be done or not, the do's and don'ts. But I also know that on social media, it was trending, where they actually had to look, into providing excellent customer service, yet they had not even fully opened. But people stormed here, and all they wanted was service and, feel better, eat, enjoy, and perhaps even being taken care in a different manner, just expecting something new from Movenpick. It wasn't easy, and I have to commend that you've done tremendously well today, because when you look at your reviews, you can tell that the journey was not easy, and after a few months, you have picked up. So congratulations for that. So I will end here, and I will want to say happy Eid to every Muslim person here. And if not, then enjoy the long holidays or the long weekend. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Irene. That was really inspiring, also insightful. And thank you for sharing your personal stories as well. Gives hope to the young people in here as well to understand how you've been able to move up your career and are where you are today. So again, we're not yet done with today's agenda. We're getting into even more exciting parts. Of course, not as exciting as the panel discussion and as the keynote speech. But if you see, our colleague here has a basket. We've sent you emails asking you guys to bring your business cards because we're going to have an exciting raffle. So please get them ready because we're going to start collecting them.
All right. As they're collecting your business card, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors. I would like to thank the Movenpick for this wonderful space. I would like to thank the Voice of CX Africa for creating this dialogue today. I would like to thank Outstanding Solutions for coordinating this event. I want to thank Events and Media for all this beautiful setup they have done. I would like to thank the EBCR for being at the front line on pushing for service excellence, the European Union. I would like to thank Golden Service Initiatives for being at the front line for feedback. We'd like to thank the CX Leadership Forum for endorsing us to do this event. And last but not least, we want to thank Jabu for all the print work that they have done for us. Thank you so much. This event would not have happened if you did not come together as an ecosystem. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Laura, for that. And this is our way of thanking you, the raffle prizes, but also we will have a special thank you for our speakers and our panelists. So that is coming up next as well. But for now, please make sure that you've put your business card in this small basket, Rwandan basket, very beautiful, by the way. And then your business card with you. It's okay, you can tell us, you can let us know, and we'll give you a small paper where you can write your name and put your, maybe win a prize.
And you could win dinner for two at the Movenpick Kigali. You could win EBCR Star membership.
You can win customer experience training with Voice of CX Africa, with Laura, the lady, yes, the woman of the hour. Or you can get, do you want to come up with more raffle,
That's
exciting prizes? Anybody who doesn't have their business card but would like to enter the raffle, please put just one business card. So this is fair for everyone, okay? Some people are laughing, so
no, just one business
card. Should we repeat this activity?
No, it's okay.
Have some people already put more than one business card?
All right. Are we ready with our cards? All right. I will just pick a member from the audience, and then they will pick whatever is in the basket. And the first prize will be dinner for two at the Movenpick. Who wants to volunteer to pick a card?
Maybe they should also close their... Okay, there you go.
The person winning dinner for two, drum roll, please. Joris Murenzi for Umunyenzi. Oh my God, he picked his own win.
This is rigged.
Well, lucky him. Lucky you. That's what we call luck. All right, who wants to pick the next card? Oh, my la la. And the next person who is winning the EBCR Star membership, all year paid for, is, drum roll please, Christelle from Zariakot.
Hey. Congratulations, Christelle.
And the last one, who wants to pick the last one? Who wants to pick the last one? Yes, Irene, our guest of honor, is picking the last one. Oh, you shouldn't look away. And the person winning a 90-minute customer experience training with outstanding solutions is, drum roll please, Barbara from Fazenda. Well done to all our winners. Once again, I want to say, there's another Barbara, yes. Once again, I want to give thank you to our sponsors, the European Business Chamber, for putting this together. I want to thank the European Union, the Movenpick for this beautiful space. We want to thank Indani Estate. We want to thank Events and Media Services for this beautiful, beautiful setup. If you ever have an event, please, they're very reliable. I want to also thank Outstanding Solutions for coordinating this event. We want to thank the African CX Leaders Forum for endorsing this event, Jabu for the print, and GSI for your feedback always. Now, for the final close. If there is one idea we hope everyone lives with tonight, it is customer experience is not a training program. It's a leadership decision. It's a culture. It is how organizations choose to operate every day. Because organizations do not compete on products, they compete on experience. That's it from me. My name is Laura Minde, and it has been a pleasure to host you.
Thank you so much, Laura. But before you leave that stage, you know that at EBCR, at Voice of CX Africa, we're really grateful to everyone who takes the time to elevate our network. So we really want to thank our keynote speaker, Mrs. Irene, our wonderful panelists and moderators, Audrey, Nadette, Norman. Sorry, I'm getting too excited. I'm remembering the Kinyarwanda names. But yes, we would really love for you to take a moment and step here before so that Audrey could help us to share with you our very small token of appreciation. So we are bringing you back to the stage for... Orlan, you should come back for the picture as well. We need to have an EBCR face showing. Laura, please join the picture as well. And because I'm the co-moderator, I also get the privilege to be in this picture. I'm sorry for y'all. Yes, so we're officially coming to the close of this discussion in this room, but we're going outside for, more networking, or you can stay in here. But I want to extend a note of appreciation from our board of directors at EBCR. I forgot to mention my name. That's also a very big mistake in customer experience. My name is Jessica. I'm from the European Business Chamber of Rwanda. Vina Manyachiesa. I'm also, I'm getting the feedback. Thank you, Mr. Kabagambi. So a note of appreciation from our board of directors, from our executive director, Johanna. She couldn't be with us, but she really wants you to know that our network is here to help you elevate your businesses, and not just to, deliver excellently, but also stand out in the network. So thank you so much. And this is not the end of our discussions. Feel free to stand up, walk around, talk to your neighbors, get to learn about what they're doing and how you can collaborate or, support each other. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this vital discussion. A round of applause to yourselves for making it till the end.